This is a brief history of the Satyarth Prakash. In pursuance of his word given to his master, Dayanand started giving lectures on Vedas, and while doing so, he mercilessly condemned many un-Vedic practices, like idolatry, caste system, ceremonies for the dead, etc. His speeches attracted both common and elite alike. His mother tongue was Gujarati, but spoke mostly in Sanskrit, and he switched over to Hindi as a medium of communication, on the advice of Babu Chandra Sen, who was the leader of Brahma Samaj. While visiting Calcutta in 1872 and 1873, his first speech in Hindi was in Kashi in 1874. His book, Satyarth Prakash, otherwise known as Light of Truth, was therefore written in Hindi to reach the masses. It is said that next to Ramcharitmanas, Satyarth Prakash is the most popular book in Hindi language. One commentator has observed that the Satyarth Prakash has made both scholars and commoners think that seriously, just as the way Das Kapital, written by Karl Marx, had done in global context. In fact, Satyarth Prakash was not the first work of Swami Dayanand. He wrote Sandhya in 1863, Bhagavad Khandan in 1866, and Advaitamat in Khandan in 1870. It is said by the Hindi scholars that the Satyarth Prakash was the trendsetter in Hindi prose. People often said that Satyarth Prakash is a Bible for the Arya Samajists. This is wrong. Arya Samajists have only Vedas as the final authority and none else. If Satyarth Prakash is found not to be not helpful as Vedas, then it becomes subsidiary authority for them. However, Satyarth Prakash is fully Vedic. Satyarth Prakash was written as per the request by Raja Jaya Krishna Das, who was an ardent admirer of Swami Dayanand. He was a district collector of Varanasi those days. Rajaji insisted that Dayanand compiled his ideas in book form. Those who had no privilege of listening to Dayanand those who had no privilege of listening to Dayanand could derive benefits. In order to help Dayanand to accomplish his task, he provided the facility of writing by the name of Chandrasekhara Shastri, who was a Maharashtrian Brahmin. Swami Dayanand therefore dictated that Shastri wrote down. This way, the work started on 12th June of 1874 and concluded in September of 1874, approximately 3.5 months later. In the words of the first issue of the Satyarth Prakash, was not written by Swami Dayanand but contained his dictations. The first publisher of Satyarth Prakash was Raja Jaya Krishna Das. He got it published in 1874 in Varanasi. Since Swami Dayanand was away on tour, he could not see even the proof. Taking advantage of his absence, certain passages which opposed to Dayanand's thinking were inserted fraudulently. For example, conducting Shraddha, taking bath during eclipses, eating meat, etc. Further, since Raja Jaya Krishna Das was an employee of British and remained a friend of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, who was founder of Aligarh Muslim University, he lacked the courage to publish the last 2 chapters, which were critical of Christianity and Islam. Hence, the first Satyarth Prakash contained only 12 chapters. When the conflicting passages were brought to notice of Swami Dayanand, he promptly clarified the issues. Hence, for the reason, the second publication of Satyarth Prakash is also considered as authentic. However, the first edition of Satyarth Prakash is significant in more ways than one. This contained the valuable views of Swamiji on economics, which for strange reasons were not included in the second edition. The first edition of Satyarth Prakash, Swami Dayanand has adversely commented on tax being levied on salt, commented on steep increase in stamp duty, and the difficulties of being experienced by the forest dwellers that collected forest wood. After 56 years of Satyarth Prakash being published, Mahatma Gandhi led successfully sought Satyagraha in 1930. The observations made by Dayanand are still relevant as the price of salt is spiraling, making the life common man still difficult. In the second edition, Swami Dayanand removed all portions that opposed to his thinking and got the 13th and 14th chapter included. Besides this, he also got the statements of belief. Swami Dayanand revised the second edition in 1882 in Udaipur. This was given to the printing, but work was over in 1884, by which time he was no more. It was therefore published after his death. In Satyarth Prakash, there are 377 book references, and out of which authority has been quoted in 290 cases. 1542 mantras, 1,542 mantras have been quoted, and authority in its full has quoted 1,882 times. Swami Dayanand believed 3,000 books as authentic. The task involved in writing such a book in those days, considered even in the present times, with all the facilities of libraries, is really stupendous. Karl Marx, sitting in London, took 34 years to write the monumental Das Kapital, which shook Europe. Similarly, Dayanand, by writing the Satyarth Prakash, shook the cultural, social, and economic thinking of India. Satyarth Prakash indicates the depth of Swami's learning and memory power. Our country is really a blessed one. Like Vedas, Upanishads, Ramayana and Mahabharata, Gita, Satyarth Prakash has had its land for its birth. Satyarth Prakash is like the proverbial Nandini cow. It provides as much milk of knowledge as desired. It is condensed knowledge of the Veda and Vedic culture. The greatness of Satyarth Prakash lies in the fact that it makes the reader think independently and enhances his scope of knowledge. As one reader puts it, Satyarth Prakash is a Gayatri mantra among mantras. It has 6 darshans among darshans. It is an Upanishad among the 10 Upanishads. It is Manava Dharma Shastra among the Dharma Shastra. Satyarth Prakash has 2 parts. The first has 10 chapters, the second has the last 4. The first half is an exposition in nature. The second half is chiefly commentary on nature. The chapters are called Samulas, meaning the causing of happiness by shedding of light. Normally, a book would be having one introduction in which the author seeks to explain the object of writing the book. Viewing accordingly, it surprises the reader that the Satyarth Prakash has 4 introductions at the beginning of the 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th chapters, besides the main introduction at the beginning of the book. This has been following the statement of beliefs which is acceptable to the author. It is better to read the introduction and other introductions before attempting to read the rest of the book. The common refrain in all these introductions is that the author makes a passionate appeal to accept the truth and reject falsehood. In the global context, there are 4 widely read books: the Quran, Bible, Gita, and Satyarth Prakash. But if you take into account the time factor, and you take that into consideration, the Quran and Bible have taken hundreds of years to reach the present state of popularity. Gita is around 5,000 years old and is associated with the Mahabharata. Thanks to the incessant efforts made by the Gita press, Gorakhpur, it is attained by the measure of popularity. But Satyarth Prakash, in a brief period of 135 years, has peaked in popularity amidst heavy odds and sacrifices. And it would be said, therefore, in terms of popularity, it ranks number 1. Thank you.